What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So let's start this video with none other than the reigning Arnold champion and the former Mr. Olympia, Derek Lunsford, about 9 weeks out of this year's Mr. Olympia, which obviously is gonna be the most important show for him of this entire year. But before we talk about this update, you can go to Derek's own page or any other bodybuilding media outlet out there who reposted this update. And the comment section that is just filled with the fans of the mutant, saying that Nick Walker is way ahead, and some even saying and giving the verdict that Derek has already lost to Nick Walker at 9 weeks out. Now, it is kind of funny that people are judging Nick and Derek and based on their conditioning right now at 9 weeks out. And of course the difference in the conditioning, they are saying Nick is gonna smoke Derek. Now, I am going to be very blunt here. It's totally laughable because it's the same people who said that Derek isn't gonna be ready at about 4 weeks out of this year's Arnold because of some of the pictures and his updates. And we even saw some of the experts out there who said that Derek is gonna drop down to 3rd place behind Andrew Jacked. And we know the rest is history. The man ended up beating the reigning Olympia champion Samson. Now you have Derek's fans on one side and Nick's fans on the other side. And at this point this rivalry is getting very fierce and I am all for it. It generates more hype, it creates more engagement, and most importantly it sells tickets. Now as far as the updates are concerned, I think Derek looks amazing right now. These are fasted pictures in the morning without any pump. And we know with a workout and some food intake is gonna make one hell of a difference in his overall physique. And I have got to say, him and his coach Chris Aceto, they are following that same strategy as they did for the Arnold. They are not looking to be ready weeks out of the Olympia. They wanna be ready on the day of the show. And as Derek's coach, Chris Aceto always says that stay in your lane and all that matters is that you show up ready on the day of the show. Not a week before, not a day before. And you can clearly see what they're trying to do here. So Derek's biggest concern right now that would be holding on to all that mass, all that pop, all that volume, especially on his quads, for as long as he possibly can, leading into this show, before they really have to push hard, in terms of the diet and the cardio, to go that extra mile, in terms of conditioning. Now we saw it did work for this year's Arnold, but it certainly did not work at the Pittsburgh Pro, so let's wait and see how Derek shows up for this year's Mr. Olympia. Before you scroll or blink too hard, have you subscribed yet? Please don't make me bring out the emotional blackmail. Hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell icon. It's free, it's painless, and that makes me look way cooler than I actually am. So the big announcement by Quinton Beastwood that is also out. So he isn't done with his season just yet, and the man this time is going to Europe to fight for his Olympia ticket and his first ever pro win. So that means both the upcoming shows, the Italy Pro and Europa Pro Germany, that might be on his schedule. Now it was kind of a disappointing showing for Quinton Beastwood in a sense that the fans and the entire bodybuilding media, they were all again of the opinion that the Texas Pro, it's again probably gonna come down between Quinton Beastwood and Jordan Hutchinson, just like the way it was at Tampa Pro. But Joe the Machine aka Joseph Palacios, he ended up beating him. And at this point it's pretty much confirmed that there is definitely a peaking issue when it comes to Quinton Beastwood, because at both the shows, the man ended up dropping points from the prejudging to the finals. So as a big guy, he has a very hard time staying hot and full, so he has to figure that out. Now Quinton has one of the most elite structure in the entire men's open bodybuilding. But we all know at this point he's lacking the density. He lacks that chest fullness and the hardness. And that is where he got exposed big time by both Jordan and Joseph. That being said, Quinton is still 30 years old or 31. And the man has got plenty of time on his hands. And all that Quinton needs to do is to just keep on packing more muscle, more mass, and more density on his frame year after year. And his time will come. And he has already shown us that he's able to bring superb conditioning, and that too in back-to-back shows. So when guys like Samson and Andrew Jacked, they speak so highly of a certain someone, in this case Quinton of course, you know he's the real deal. and definitely one of the favorites to win these upcoming European shows. So the Masters Olympia 2025 also just concluded, and the results are here. And I can absolutely assure you guys that this is the wildest scorecards you guys will have ever seen. When was the last time you saw an athlete jump from third place to first place? And if it was close between Dorian Haywood and Phil Claher, it would have made a lot more sense. So Phil was clearly beating him by 8 points at the end of the prejudging. And Dorian just came back so strong that he covered all the ground and he ended up beating Phil Claher, not just at the finals, but in the overall scores. So most of the bodybuilding community out there, they weren't really paying any attention to Masters Olympia this year. But most of us really thought that in the absence of Kamal, the defending Masters Olympia champion and the former 212 Olympia champion, Phil Claher was the favorite, and the man was clearly winning after the prejudging. So something weird must have happened, and that too in a matter of just few hours, because as far as I can remember, I have never seen scores change like that from the prejudging to the finals. But that being said, a huge congratulations to Dorian Haywood for winning the Masters Olympia, and for Phil, this would be a very tough pill to swallow. So there is a huge buzz on the entire bodybuilding media and the internet discussing Andrew Jack training with Fabrico, the same guy who has been training Derek Lunsford and Ramondino throughout this year. And people were congratulating Fabrico over this particular post. And if Andrew has really paired up with him for this upcoming Mr. Olympia, then he deserves all the congratulations, because this guy is now working with two guys who have all the tools to win the Olympia title, and that too this year. But the whole buzz that is regarding Andrew Jack firing Chris Lewis, aka Psycho Fitness, as his trainer. Now for the record, Andrew hasn't trained with Psycho Fitness since the Olympia last year, at least not on the camera. And he also did not train with him while prepping for his last two shows, which were Arnold, Ohio and FIBO, Germany. And Psycho Fitness himself said that Andrew doesn't need him anymore. Now it will be very interesting if Andrew goes on and trains with Fabrico for these last 9 weeks. Then we might see Andrew Jack and Derek training together, because now him and Derek, they will be on the same team. Chris Aceto looking over the nutrition side of both these guys, while Fabrico looking over the training. So if we take a look at Derek's transformation from the Olympia last year to this year's Arnold, he made some overall amazing improvements, especially on his legs, and we should give both Chris Aceto and Fabrico the due credit here. Now, we all know Andrew Jack is one of the most gifted athletes in the entire men's open bodybuilding right now, and maybe this is the change that is needed by him to step it up a notch and fight for the Olympia title this year. So what do you guys think of this partnership? So looking at the most recent guest posing from Brett Wilkin, it will be such a shame if he doesn't do a show before the Olympia this year, because the guy is looking so ready to step on the stage in about 2 to 4 weeks time. Because this right here is extremely lean for more than 8 weeks out. And not only does he look shredded, he looks bigger than ever, which means the off-season with Stefan as his coach, that was a huge success. So he is also posing a bit differently, or rather I should say in a more classic manner. And here is a very interesting fact about Brett. He originally started his career as a classic physique competitor, and he slowly transitioned into the men's open. And if everything goes really well, this is gonna be his all-time best. And the plan is to make his Olympia debut a very memorable one, just like his best friend and training partner did last year by placing top 4 in the wall. So have a look at that front lat spread. That is looking so beautiful. The waist is gonna continue to tighten up as he gets deeper and deeper into this diet phase, and with the added mass this time, he's gonna overcome the width issue too, that he's always known for. That has been the biggest knock on his physique, that he isn't wide enough. He doesn't take up a lot of space on the stage. But that being said, his strongest point is that he has always been one of the most driest and the most ripped guy in any show that he enters. So can we all agree that Behrouz Tabani, he always comes in absolutely ripped, And there was that one show Romania Pro, I guess back in 2022, when Brad battled it out with Behrouz Tabani, and their conditioning was pretty much the same and very comparable. So shout out to Brett Wilkin for making the maximum financial advantage by doing all of these guest posings, something every bodybuilder should do and learn from. So hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video and smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.